Okay, next, let's learn enter data manually in worksheet cells. You can enter numbers with or without fixed decimal points, text, dates, or times in one cell, in several cells at once, or on more than one worksheet. Important. A worksheet may have been protected by you or someone else to prevent data from being changed accidentally. On a protected worksheet, you may be able to select cells to view the data, but you won't be able to type information in cells that are locked. In most cases, a protected a protected worksheet should not be unprotected unless you have permission to do so from the person who created it. To unprotect the worksheet, if appropriate, click Unprotect Sheet in the Changes group on the Review tab. If a password was set when the worksheet protection was applied, you must type the password to unprotect the worksheet. What do you want to do? Enter numbers or text. Enter numbers with a fixed decimal point. Enter dates or times. Enter the same data into several cells at once, or enter the same data on other worksheets. First, enter numbers or text. On the worksheet, click a cell. Type the numbers or text that you want and then press Enter or Tab. To start data on a new line within a cell, enter a line break by pressing Alt Enter. Note, by default, pressing Enter moves the selection down one cell and pressing Tab moves the selection one cell to the right. You cannot change the direction of the move for the Tab key, but you can specify a different direction for the Enter key. How to change the direction for the Enter key? Click the Microsoft Office button and then click Excel Options. Second, in the Advanced category, under Edit, select the after pressing Enter, Move Selection checkbox and then click the direction that you want in the direction box. When you press Tab to enter the data in several cells in a row and then press Enter at the end of that row, the selection moves to the beginning of the next row. Next, a cell may display number sign when it contains data that has a number format that is wider than the column width. To see all the text, you must increase the width of the column. How to change the column width? First, click the cell for which you want to change the column width. Second, on the Home tab, in the Cells group, click Format. Third, under Cell Size, do one of the following. To fill all the text in the cell, click Auto Fit Column Width. To specify a larger column width, click Column Width and then type the width that you want in the column width box. You can display multiple lines of text inside a cell by wrapping the text. How to wrap text in a cell? First, click the cell in which you want to wrap the text. On the Home tab, in the Alignment group, click Wrap Text. Note, if the text is single long word, the characters won't wrap. You can widen the column or decrease the font size to see all of the text. If not, all of the text is visible after you wrap the text, you may need to adjust the height of the row. On the Home tab, in the Cells group, click Format, then under Cell Size, click Auto Fit Row. In Microsoft Office Excel, the appearance of a number in a cell is separate from the number that is stored in the cell. When a number that you enter is rounded, in most circumstances, only the displayed number is rounded. Calculations use the actual number stored in the cell, not the number that is displayed. After you type numbers in cell, you can change the format in which they are displayed. How to change the number format? First, click the cell that contains the numbers that you want to format. Second, on the Home tab, in the number group, point to General and then click the format that you want. Tip: to select a number format from the list of available formats, click More and then click the format that you want to use in the category list. For numbers that do not need to be calculated in Excel, such as phone numbers, you can format them as text by applying the text format to empty cells before typing the numbers. How to format numbers as text? First, select an empty cell. On the Home tab, in the number group, point the general and then click Text. Third, type the numbers that you want in the format cell. Note, numbers that you type before you apply the text format to the cells need to be re-entered in the formatted cells. To quickly re-enter numbers as text, select each cell, press F2 and then press Enter. Enter numbers with a fixed decimal point. First, click the Microsoft Office button and then click Excel Options. Click Advanced and then under Editing Options, select the Automatically Insert a Decimal Point checkbox and the Places box. Enter the positive number of digits to the right of the decimal point or a negative numbers for digits to the left of the decimal point. For example, if you enter 3 in the Places box and then type 2834 in a cell, the value will be 2.834. If you enter negative 3 in the Places box and then type 283, the value will be 283,000. On the worksheet, click a cell and then enter the number that you want. Note: data that you type in cells before selecting the fixed decimal options is not affected. Tip: to temporarily override the fixed decimal option, type a decimal option when you enter the number. Next, enter dates or times. On the worksheet, click a cell. Type a date or times as follows. For a date, use a slash mark or a hyphen to separate the parts of a date. For example, type September 5, 2002 or 5 September of 2002. To enter the current date, press Ctrl plus semicolon. For a time that is based on the 12-hour clock, type a space and then type A or P after the time. For example, 9 p. Otherwise, Excel enters the time as AM. To enter the current time, press Ctrl plus Shift plus semicolon. Notes: to enter a date or time that stays current when you reopen a worksheet, you can use the Today and Now functions. When a date or time is typed in a cell, it appears either in a default date or time format or in a format that was applied to the cell before the date or times was entered. The default date or time format is based on the date and time settings in the Regional and Language Options dialog box control panel. If these date and time settings have changed, and existing dates or times in your workbooks that have not been formatted by using the Format Cells command also change. If you want to use the default date or time format, click the cell that contains the date or time and then press Ctrl plus Shift plus hashtag numbers or Ctrl plus Shift plus at. Next, enter the same data into several cells at once. First, select the cells into which you want to enter the same data. The cells do not have to be adjacent. How to select cells, ranges, rows, or columns. To select, then do this. A single cell, click the cell or press the arrow keys to move to the cell. A range of cells. Click the first cell in the range and then drag to the Ano? Ha? Ha?
Kaya na daw.
Kakain na?
Kaya na daw, sabi ni Mama.
Sige, punta
Baka
ako.
daw.
You can also select the first cell in the range and then press F8 to extend the selections by using the arrow keys. To stop extending the selection, press F8 again. A large range of cells. Click the first cells in the range and then hold down Shift while you click the last cells in the range. You can scroll to make the last cell visible. Cells on a worksheet. Cells on a worksheet. Click the Select All button. Select All button. To select the entire worksheet, you can also press Ctrl A. Note, if the worksheet contains data, Ctrl A selects the current region. Pressing Ctrl plus A a second time selects the entire worksheet. Non-adjacent cells or cells ranges. Select the first cell or range of cells and then hold down Ctrl while you select the other cells or ranges. You can also select the first cell or range of cells and then press Shift F8 to add another non-adjacent cell or a range to the selection. To stop adding cells or ranges to the selection, press Shift F8 again. Note, you cannot cancel the selection of a cell or range of cells in a non-adjacent selection without canceling the entire selection. An entire row or column. Click the row or column heading. Row heading, column heading. You can also select cells in a row or column by selecting the first cell and then pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus arrow key, right arrow or left arrow for rows, or up arrow or down arrow for columns. Note, if the row or column contains data, Ctrl plus Shift plus arrow key selects the row or column to the last used cell. Pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus arrow key is a second time selects the entire row or columns. Adjacent rows or columns. Drag across the row or column headings or select the first row or column. Then hold down Shift while you select the last row or column. Non-adjacent row or columns. Click the column or row heading for the first row or column in your selection. Then hold your down control while you click the column or row headings or other rows of columns that you want to add to the selection. The first or last cell in a row or column. Select a cell in a row or column and then press Ctrl plus arrow key, right arrow or left arrow for rows, up arrow or down arrow for columns. The first or last cell on a worksheet or in a Microsoft Office Excel table. Press Ctrl plus Home to select the first cell on the worksheet or in an Excel list. Press Ctrl plus N to select the last cell on the worksheet or in an Excel list that contains data or formatting. Cells to the last used cells on the worksheet, lower right corner. Select the first cell and then press Ctrl plus Shift plus End to extend the selection of cells that the last used cell on the worksheet, lower right corner. Cell to the beginning of the worksheet. Select the first cell and then press Ctrl plus Shift plus Home to extend the selection of cells to the beginning of the worksheet. More or fewer cells than the active selection. Hold down Shift while you click the last cell that you want to include in the new selection. The rectangular range between the active cell and the cell that you click becomes the new selection. Second, in the active cell, type the data and then press Ctrl plus Enter. Tip: you can also enter the same data into several cells by using the fill handle to automatically fill data in worksheet cells. For more information, see fill data in worksheet cells. Enter the same data on other worksheet. If you already entered data on a worksheet, you can quickly fill this data into corresponding cells on other worksheets. First, click the tab of the worksheet that contains the data. Then hold down Ctrl while you click the tabs of the worksheets into which you want to fill the data. Note, if you want to see the tab that you want, click the tab scrolling buttons to display the tab and then click the tab. In the worksheet, select the cells that contain the data that you entered. Third, on the Home tab, on the Editing group, click Fill and then click across Worksheet. 4. Under Fill, select the option that you want. Notes: data that you type appears on all selected worksheet and may inadvertently replace existing data. To avoid replacing existing data, view worksheets at the same time. How to view worksheets at the same time. On the View tab in the Window group, click New Window. Second, switch to the new window and then click the Sheet tab of the worksheet that you want to view. Repeat steps 1 and 2 for each worksheet that you want to view. On the View tab in the Window group, click Arrange All. To cancel a selection of multiple worksheets, click any unselected worksheet. If an unselected worksheet is not visible, right-click the Sheet tab of a selected worksheet and then click Ungroup Sheets. Thank you for watching.